I played Liza P with one rule. Every death matters. Because if I die more than 75 times, I don't get to move on. I have to replay the game with restrictions. This is Road to Pro, and this run decides everything. Yeah, we can do it. Yep. Dude, this fight is so messed up. For those that haven't played Liza P, this game is phenomenal in story and combat. It is known for having parry windows that are tighter than that of Sekiro, and I decided I wanted to see how good I was at Liza P. But this challenge wasn't just out of fun. I wanted to ensure that I was learning the game enough to consider myself good at it. So I instilled the challenge that if I do not complete the game in under 75 deaths, I would be forced to go back through the game without leveling up. So every life is precious. Then if I complete the game under the threshold, I am allowed to move on to the next game I have. Before we start, here is the plan. Early on, I prioritize health so I can survive mistakes. My real power spikes don't happen until later, including amulets before the Watchman boss and the handle I want from Vanini before Fuuko. Quartz upgrades are huge for healing and survivability, and since the weapon I'm using, that is the glaive, only upgrades to +5, every weapon upgrade is rare but impactful. Those are the milestones. Let's see how many deaths it takes to reach them. Defeating the Parade Master without dying is pretty much expected if I'm going to accomplish the goal of this run. And we are in the main hub of the game with Hotel Krat. Nothing fancy here other than we refill our Fable art by walking into the courtyard briefly and head on to the next section. After fighting through waves of basic puppets, we eventually get to the Mad Donkey, who is one of the weakest stalkers in the entire story. When fighting him, I always find myself getting hit a couple times, but we were able to defeat him as well without losing a death. At this point, we save Geppetto, who, if you know the story of this game, is really one of the worst characters in all of gaming, and we should be able to have a spot in the story where we turn Geppetto into a puppet. If you know, you know. After defeating the Mad Donkey, I'm feeling pretty confident and decided to head out to the Scrapped Watcher without resting at a Stargazer to refill my heals or fix my weapon durability. On our way there, we grab an amulet that allows us to do more damage to puppet-type enemies and face off against the Watcher. Luckily, the fight goes well, and I am able to continue with no deaths so far. Then to progress, I need to grab a key from Geppetto back at the hotel, and I am now able to gain access to P's Heart, which I upgrade with items called Quartz. Up until this point, I received 2 from the Puppet Master and the Watcher. Then with some extra money I gained, I was able to buy 2 more from the front desk puppet. So with the Quartz upgrade, I decided I wanted to work towards adding another Fable slot, and I need to select 2 upgrades underneath it. The first one I grab is to enhance the Fable Art attack, which are the abilities that I'm going to be using with the glaive. And the other is to increase the amount of money that I get for defeating enemies. Getting this early on will help me with getting the level up so that I can get more health and hopefully keep my deaths low throughout the run. Then with the remaining 2 quartz, I decide to increase my pulse cells that I can use, which are the heals that get refilled when you go back to the Stargazer. The upgrades I picked underneath that were to increase the attack of fatal attacks. This is the attack that happens when you stagger an enemy, and they have a red claw symbol appear on them. And the idea here is that if I'm able to use my glaive's Fable art to parry an attack, I will charge an R2 attack to do a lot of initial damage. And if I do it with an enemy that is staggerable, I can continue to pump out damage with the enhanced stagger attack. Then while they're recovering, it is a good breather to use some consumables, fix weapon durability, or start to charge another R2 attack to maximize damage per second. Finally, to finish off this upgrade, I selected the Perfect Guard Fable charge enhancement. This means that if I can get a perfect guard, my Fable art charge will be improved, which all really connects together with some of the amulets I will be going for later in the run. Before leaving, we can head to the training area to get a free refill on our Fable art, and we make our way to Vanini Works, where Fuuko is the next boss. On our way through Vanini Works, we grab some easy money and items, and eventually find an item called Technique Crank. This item is to help scale weapons more by the specific stat that you level up called Technique. At this point, I have leveled up my health and technique, but haven't consumed my boss Ergos because of the key amulet I'm going to use later on in the run. But even with all the preparations I have done, I still struggle with Fuuko, and he hands me 2 deaths in the run. After coming back and equipping the technique crank to my glaive and becoming less greedy on my parry attacks, I was able to defeat the fire puppet and continue through the run, which is only going to get harder. Making our way through the mines, we get the first weapon upgrade material that the glaive needs, Dark Moon Moonstone of the Covenant. Yeah, a mouthful, but this is going to help us keep pace with the level up in difficulty that this game is going to start pushing on us. Returning back to the hotel, I upgrade my health, technique for damage, capacity, and the glaive to +2. For Liza P, capacity is the weight that P is equipped with. And since I want to use less stamina in my fights, and having a better roll and use multiple amulets, they're going to make me heavier, and I need to start putting points into the stat to offset that. Shortly after, we get to the stalker known as Atoned. And if you have enough humanity, you can lie to her and ride the gondola up, but I forgot about this and had to fight her. She was able to cost me another death, but I came back and was able to get her on the next attempt. After listening to Gemini through the gondola, we make our way through the cathedral and have to start climbing up the inside across some thin pieces of wood. In my head, I thought I was being extra careful with this enemy that can shoot DK at you, but I completely forgot about the fact that blocking this will have even a little bit of knockback. And I fall off the wood and plummet to my death for my 4th death so far. Heading back up and taking it even slower, I am able to get to a room that locks and forces us to fight a mini-boss. I had equipped the grindstone that you get from Venini that ignites your weapon, and I'm able to quickly defeat them. And you receive a quartz as a reward. Immediately after, I open a chest that has a Krat supply box, and this is an item that increases the variety of goods that are available from the shop with the puppet at the front desk in the hotel, which we're gonna need. As I think I am on the home stretch to fight Andreas, the next boss, I find myself in front of another stronger carcass enemy, and he bought me 3 times into another death. After that mishap, we are able to make it to the next boss, Andreas. In our first attempt, I get to the point that I have no more heals and miss a perfect block. The next attempt is my least favorite attack that his second phase can do, which is an attack that has 2 very large AoE attacks that are delayed between the different blasts and are on opposite sides of the body. So I end up going from about 75% HP to 0 when I timed for the first attack but was in range for the second one, meaning I wasn't blocking. To beat him, I decided I wanted to face the side of Andreas where you fight him in the first phase, which I'm more comfortable with, and I'm more comfortable with their moveset, and I get him to the point in the second phase that he starts to charge up the attack that previously got me. But this time I have the stagger window open, and I'm using the glaive that has great vertical range so I can hit him with the charged R2 attack. So once I realize this, I wind up the charge attack, it connects, I cancel his huge blast, and finally defeat him. Currently at 8 deaths in the run, on our way out of the cathedral, we chat with Alidoro, and I have him go back to the hotel so that I can use the boss souls I gathered and grab the 2 amulets I've been waiting for finally. Returning back to the hotel, we acquire the Conquering Amulet, which is Fioko's Ergo, and it will temporarily increase our weapon damage when we get a perfect guard. The next one is Extreme Modification and increases our weapon attack in proportion to the number of Fable slots we have, which is currently at 4 of the total 5 that you can get in the game. And then as I equip everything to see what my weight level is at, I realize that I am in the heavy category, which is going to make me incredibly slow with a fat roll, and I will use a ton of stamina. I also provide the Krat supply box to the front desk puppet, purchase the material that is needed for the next weapon upgrade, and buy another quartz he has. Then we are able to upgrade my glaive to level 3, use the quartz to add another amulet slot, and then we need to pick 2 upgrades underneath that. So I decide to enhance the perfect guard destruction, meaning that when I perform a perfect guard, it will do more destruction damage to enemies. The next upgrade is to enhance guard regain. So if I guard something, I will take chip damage for it not being a perfect guard, but I will be able to regain some of the missing health back by hitting the enemy right after, which gives me cushion if I miss a perfect guard and don't have to always think about using a heal. For the last part of the hotel trip here, I have sold pretty much all the junk that I don't need and consumed all the ergo to do some massive leveling up here with Sophia. Most of it goes to capacity to reduce my weight issue. The next set of level ups goes to technique for extra damage, and then I had an extra point that I put into vitality to get more health. Making the long run through the next boss, we gain another death, but we also find another quartz, and are able to unlock the shortcut to the Black Rabbit Brotherhood fight. And if any of you have played Lies of P, you will likely relate to this, but these fights are a pain in the butt. Pretty much in this fight, you need to fight the oldest brother in a group of 4 folks. As you do more damage to the older brother, the other siblings will come out and help him out. So if you're able to focus the older brother, this is really a gamble on how the fight goes. And in this fight, I do die, and then I have some slight raging on the gank fight. Dang it, dude. Dude, I hate this fight. This is one of the worst fights in the game. But we are able to get enough of the Fable Art charged up to do the big attack with the glaive, and we win on the second try. In the next building, we get another quartz and head back to the hotel to progress the story and do some more upgrades. With our heart, I work on increasing pulse cells again, and then the first point we use is to enhance our charged stagger attack, and then we play for a worst case situation where I may have consumed all of my pulse cells and add the lower damage when discharged to round out for the heart upgrade we're doing this round. Then all the money I have goes to leveling up more damage and health again. On our way through Rosa Isabelle Street, we defeat the White Lady pretty easily, and I decide that it is worth the meme to fight the clown after I get the Stargazer. The clown proceeds to make a fool out of me and hands us our 11th death. And we make our way to Romeo, the king of puppets. So while going up the stairs, I remember seeing this cool trick on the speedrun that I figured I would try. So after misjudging the range on one of the puppets' disruption attack, we spawn back in and clear the puppets for this pretty cool skip. After showing that I'm able to draw back to my roots of a speedrunner, yay, speedrunner tricks that, and you know, I'm not a speedrunner, but yay. I proceed to unlock the shortcuts and head to Romeo. Oh my god. I'm so happy we first tried him. Oh my god. I was so worried about him. Oh my god, we first tried him. Oh man. I was so locked in. I didn't say a word. Oh my god. I'm so happy we first tried Romeo. Heading back to the hotel, we sell more junk and level up some more HP and damage, and then head to the arcade. We are able to go through the arcade without giving any more deaths and make our way to the Grand Exhibition where Champion Victor is awaiting us. Before entering the building, I am able to find another piece I need to upgrade the glaive I'm using, and then after getting to the Stargazer inside, I rush to upgrade it so that I am as strong as I can be for this difficult area. After running through the entire area, I unlock the shortcut to Victor and grab the Krat supply box that will help with upgrading the glaive again later. In our fight with the champion, I am one fatal attack from winning on the first attempt, but I don't realize that when Victor is on a second phase and you stagger him, he will do one more attack before the fatal attack is possible. And well, this happened. 2. He got up. Oh my god. I had that, dude. I wasn't even like super greedy. I was just a little greedy. Victor proceeds to hand us several more deaths, and we find ourselves in the same exact scenario as the first death. But I realize the additional attack and get the dub. Same thing. We did it. Okay, so we learned when he's in his second phase and you knock him down like that, he's gonna hit you. Oh man, scary. Heading to the swamps, I'm feeling pretty good and pretty much run through most of the swamps until this dumb baby puppet catches me with no health and I die to him. So upon returning, I go out of my way to avenge my previous life. Next up is the green monster of the swamp who raises the death counter to 19. Then to make it worse, I run out of consumables that will get rid of the decay ailment that he puts on you, which means that my health and weapon durability are constantly going down until the decay wears off. So on top of fighting the boss, I need to heal and constantly fix my weapon as well. On the last attempt, I decide that when I see him using the decay attack, I'm going to stay completely back away until I'm totally safe from that attack. This works and we are able to continue our challenge. This puts us up at 20 deaths. Continuing through, we find ourselves in the Krat train station and we go to fight Robber Weasel, who is a stalker that loves to kick my butt. Well, in this challenge, he hands us another death. After coming back, we are able to defeat him and proceed through the disaster that is Krat falling apart. In this adventure, I take a death from a carcass that we need to defeat to unlock a door and then proceed on to the Walker of Illusions. If you don't know who this boss is, she's pretty tough and really fast. She does get us a couple of times, but we are able to proceed through while at 25 deaths in this challenge. Next up, we have Corrupted Parade Master, who is preventing getting to Hotel Krat. He does get us one time with the decay because we're in the same situation that I don't have any consumables to get rid of, so we die. But when doing the run, I mistakenly didn't add a death here, so I'm just going to add a +1 here. Then we head right back to the Corrupted Puppet and defeat him on the next attempt. Back in the hotel, I want to use the quartz I've gathered and decide to finally add Link Dodge to my kit. I decided to increase my special grindstone duration as well and enhance my weapon attack when durability is at maximum. While shopping, I finally remember that the front desk puppet sells the item I need to get rid of decay and other status ailments. So we stock up on him and buy the last quartz he has, and I use it to enhance perfect guard destruction again. We then go underground beneath the hotel and head off to face against the Black Rabbit Brotherhood again. But this fight is way worse than the first, and we have to fight the other 3 siblings together before the older brother comes back in his carcass state. We lose a lot of lives here. Then with each death, I start to learn how to do the fight. First, we start off with the brother that can ignite his blade and pulls us with his puppet string, because being on fire and canceling my moves is mad annoying. Next, I focus up on getting rid of the older brother that does electricity. But I try to get the younger sister to have a lower health at the same time so that I only have a couple hits left on her before the eldest brother comes out of the coffin. This plan works great, and I am able to start the fight in a one-on-one with a couple of heals, Fable art at my disposal, and I saved my special fire grinder for him. In between some decent guards, I am able to parry him with an enhanced charged R2 attack and dump the rest of my Fable into him for some damage. This gets him real close to the staggerable state, and then after a couple more hits, I know this is the closest I have got. So I wait for him to miss a big attack and charge up the R2 for a stagger. At this time, he decides to go for an overhead attack to try and dodge it, but the glaive, as I mentioned earlier, has great vertical range and we catch him. As he starts to transition to a staggered state, he continues to throw even more attacks, which catches me off guard. But I retreat back to wait as he is 1 HP away from dying and I'm pretty healthy. So we do one final poke and move on. Now to the final area of the game, the island. Here we are able to run around everyone and eventually get to the guardian that holds the gate we need. We swiftly defeat him and continue to climb up the tower. Eventually, after getting lost in several parts of the tower, we find ourselves in one of my favorite bosses, Lexasia. And boy, do we find out that we are not prepared to fight her. So we think strategically that while we are gaining experience fighting her, we need to level up the glaive to +5, as I didn't find the last item to do it. So we find the 3rd Krat supply box and decide we're going to go buy it. Then we use the last of the quartz that I can find to add another heal in the inventory. And doing this, we add perfect guard destruction with another increase of pulse cells within this skill tree. And finally, we reduce the stamina cost to dash, in hopes that if I frantically dash, that I will retain some stamina. The last thing is to really learn the boss, and we proceed to tally up the deaths to 45 before it all strings together for a glorious victory. On the way up the tower, we lose a couple of lives and finally get to the top. We find some money and quartz and decide to use them for the final battle with Simon and enhance the Fable Arts attack again. With how decked out we are, I have hopes of defeating Simon on the first attempt and get pretty far on this one, but then on the next attempt, we are able to do something awesome. Oh, we did it. We did Lies of P in 48 deaths, 7.5 hours. I finished Lies of P under the 75 death limit, but it was closer than I expected. What surprised me wasn't the bosses, it was how much smarter I had to play once mistakes actually mattered. That's the point of Road to Pro, not to play perfectly, but to learn under pressure. Next up is Bloodborne, and the deaths are being tracked there. So if you think this was rough, it's only getting worse. If you're curious about the full run, I'm uploading the raw footage as well so you can see everything, deaths included. And if you've got a challenge you want to see later in the series, drop it in the comments. I'm reading them. If you enjoyed this, a like or sub helps a lot, and I'll see you in Bloodborne.